as much as I may not have liked um James Gunn's Superman movie, I can at least give credit where credit is due when it comes to Warner and the fact that they actually asked something that most likely would have been so much worse than that. The whole black Superman thing. I have never myself cared for that whole storyline. I know that people who went to say, well, they don't always have an interesting premise about that kind of thing. Fine, no problem. Just make the character into a different hero. That's it. But the fact that Superman is the last son of Krypton and they don't seem to want to understand the fact that that means he's the last son of Krypton doesn't get me. Because you could say it's a different universe. I mean, we had all kind of notes like President Superman. Basically, it was basically, putting chapstick on their lips to kiss Obama's ass. That didn't make any kind of sense. I'm not saying you can't have black superheroes who do things, but just make them original. For God's sakes, look at Miles Morales. He's struggling right now because nobody buys him as freaking Spider-Man. Come on. And yes, I'm saying that right now because believe it or not, people, just because you have a couple of good Sony movies doesn't mean that you're making any kind of legway in the comics at all because it isn't. Stop doing this. But apparently, luckily, we were saved from this. Let's get into this article here from Cosmic Book News. David Zaslav saves us from woke black Superman. I could only imagine how woke it was really going to be. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav saved us all from the woke black Superman movie that was in development from JJ Abrams and writer Ta Nehisi Coates. Oh yes, Ta Nehisi Coates, who they gave to write Captain America, and he ruined that. And let's not forget his statements about first responders with the whole 9/11 thing. Why they let these people near comic books or anything is beyond me. What you're gonna do it? In the Wall Street Journal's report on the Superman budget and box office goals and potential spin-offs, the article goes over how DC lacked a single creative leader, unlike Marvel, which has Kevin Feige running the show. Yeah, they have Kevin Feige running the show. As long as Kevin Feige sits down, shut up, and says nothing, okay. But the minute Kevin Feige starts to push his agenda, well, let's just say the last 5-6 years of the MCU's collapse wasn't an accident. Continue on. So when James Gunn and Peter Safran took over DC, various projects were cancelled, including Wonder Woman 3. Somebody could tell me why they made Wonder Woman 1984 a movie I have never finished watching. I've watched parts of it and I have no interest in ever watching the whole thing because it's terrible. And after how bad that movie was, why were you going on to Wonder Woman 3? I mean, if they have people do like, I don't know, screen tests and just be brutally or something, listen, that movie was shit. Maybe that would help a lot. But the fact that, you have to reach the point that you have to make this garbage before somebody tells you, that's saying something. Among the tidbits is mention of the Black Superman movie that was in development under Abrams and woke writer Ta Nehisi Coates. The Wall Street Journal says Zaslav put a stop to the Black Superman movie because he felt it was too woke. Around the same time in 2022, Zaslav was exploring how to fix DC. I know how to do that. I know how to fix DC. You could just call me up and tell him exactly how to fix it. He dismissed as too woke a script being written by Ta Nehisi Coates about a black Superman in the civil rights era. Jesus Christ. Oh Lord Father, when is not somebody talking about how the X-Men are based on the civil rights movement, even though that's not what it was about? You cannot just pick up some thread online and run with it. That's not what the X-Men were about. Now you wanted a black Superman in the civil rights era. Yeah, that should work. Yeah. According to people familiar with the matter, Gunn and Safran could still try to make the movie in the future. Some of the people at it. God, I hope not. I really hope not. Because I wasn't surprised they were planning to do this nonsense because they actually filmed the Batgirl movie, which was so bad. They said that, it could not be released. That's all I said. It could not be released. It was that bad. And the only reason that Batgirl movie was made was because they race swapped Barbara Gordon and wanted to push that. That was the only reason. That was the only reason. But that's what they were doing, so not shocking. It's also worth noting that James Gunn's Superman isn't woke. So I wouldn't say the movie was woke, although it does explore political themes. Yes, it does. It does explore some political themes, and Gunn was out there shooting his mouth off like it had no cover. So yeah, there's that. Zaslav made it a priority to get Superman right to launch the new DCU. Well, that didn't work out, did it? And it's clear he didn't want the character weighed down by the kind of wokeness that has destroyed Kevin Feige's MCU. Yep. The Black Superman movie was a project in development at Warner Brothers before the Warner Brothers Discovery merger. Led by JJ Abrams and Ta Nehisi Coates, it was intended to feature a black version of Superman separate from the mainline Clark Kent character. Okay, I'm just going to point out Icon, who basically has those Superman-like powers and actually showed up on Earth like hundreds of years ago and lived there and is a black character. He's an alien. You could make a movie about Icon and Rocket if you decide to do it really good and you get competent people in there. I have never seen a need for this black Superman thing. Honestly, I don't think it works anywhere. I am not saying you cannot have the character exist, but give the character some different powers, a different something. But the fact that Superman is the most iconic superhero in the world, they also want to do something with it. Over something with it. That is the whole reason why when they had his son take over, they decided, let's make Superman's son John Kent gay and plastered all over the world for a whole 10 seconds of fame. And no, he's not bisexual. We all know he isn't. This is what you do. Stop ruining Superman to push agendas. You tell me you couldn't come up with a different story or something for a character like that? Come on now, man. Come on, just send any character approach or something like that. If you want to do some kind of multi-dimensional character, fine, but the person does not have to be Superman. It does not have to be from Krypton. Superman is the last son of Krypton. Let it go now, nah? JJ Abrams was attached as producer through his Bad Robot banner, part of his overall deal with Warner Brothers. Well, they clearly weren't getting anything out of that deal. Ta Nehisi Coates, a writer known for political and race-related works, was hired to write the script. I wondered just how much of a train wreck that script was going to be. Because if you don't know what Ta Nehisi Coates, check out his run on Captain America, where he pretty much pissed on the character there. And then, his other works and stuff he's put in there isn't very good. So, and you're going to give him to write as Superman in the civil rights. But come on, you know that's going to be a disaster. Reports said Coates' take was set during the civil rights era and would heavily feature racial themes. Well, there it is. The movie was rumored to introduce a black version of Kal-El, still named Clark Kent. Jesus Christ, boy. Rather than using established black Superman characters like Val Zod or Calvin Ellis from the comics. I don't care for Val Zod. I don't care for Calvin Ellis. I'm just saying, these characters, but do something else with it. Look at what happened with Batman when they had Jace Fox take over as Batman and sent him over to New York City. And I was so hoping he was going to kick his ass over there. Nobody read the book. Why? There is only one Batman. You trying to tell me you couldn't sit down and take 10 minutes and come up with a different superhero moniker for this character and rather have him be Black Batman? It's the same thing with these Black Superman things. It is cheap, pathetic knockoffs that nobody's interested in. Have these characters establish themselves and be their own characters. I mean, look at it. Not every character is going to be a hit. When legends like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and the others were out there creating, if you think every character that they came up with was a hit, no, some of them wasn't. And they just had to move on again. But they were actually doing the age of creativity, creating new characters. Right now, the only time that we are getting really good and interesting comics really comes out from things like indie comics. Honestly, you might get one or two from DC and Marvel every couple months, but overall, it is indie comics that are doing these things. Because these people who work at these companies are just creatively bankrupt. Create new things. Why you have to go out and create Val Zod or Calvin Ellis? You couldn't just make something else. Superman is the last son of Krypton. I don't care about no multiversal shit. I don't want to hear it. Create something new and unique. It's the same thing I say about Miles Morales. Miles Morales could be a superhero on his own. Why does he need to be a Spider-Man ripoff? Why? You're going to tell me he can't wait? And just as I predicted, the book fails because he has no unique villains, has no unique personality, and now they're just giving him the Ms. Marvel, the Captain Marvel treatment, or where they're just giving him new powers and new suits every 2 months. That is all. That's all they're doing with that character. Does he even have an ongoing comic right now? I don't know. That's how bad it is. Come on now, man. You're embarrassing on yourselves now. Actors rumored or suggested for the role included Michael B. Jordan. Yes, I did hear Michael B. Jordan's name being thrown around for this Black Superman thing. Though Jordan was reportedly developing his own separate Black Superman project focused on Val Zod for HBO Max. The project was unrelated to Coates' script. Oh, great, yes, because why not? HBO Max will put out anything to finish Kill Itself. Sure, why not? Jordan rejected the idea of a race swap Clark Kent Superman. Yeah, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense, but I'm sorry, Val Zod and Calvin Ellis doesn't make any sense either. I'm just saying, create something new for the love of God. Cyborg actor Ray Fisher rejected the Black Superman. Thank God. The idea was controversial with fans who criticized as race swapping the iconic Christopher Reeve Superman rather than developing existing Black heroes. Yeah, like I keep saying, icon. For the love of God, just go with icon. Many felt it was a lazy attempt at diversity instead of creating original stories or spotlighting established Black DC characters. That's because that's what it was. That's what it was. So thank God we were saved from woke Black Superman. Is this going to be the last time you ever hear of woke Black Superman? Probably not, but at least for now, we could say we don't have to hear about it for a little while. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. You have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.